Hello, Rufus Ballister again, sharing some thoughts with the community which wants to check into St Paul's, Beckenham, England during this pandemic crisis. I previously shared how my thoughts were taken to a time of biblical seismic events, and at that time I chose the sacking of Jerusalem by Nebuchadnezzar and the later return of the Jewish exiles under Artaxerxes. One of my favourite Bible stories is a much later one in time. It is of the Samaritan woman at Jacob's well, chapter 4 of St John's Gospel. And at this time of social distancing, that story resonates as strongly as at a time of normal social contact, if not more. Jesus is alone near Jacob's well, his disciples off buying food for themselves and him. A local woman comes to the well on her own at a hot time of day. The Bible does not say this, but I've heard many sermons explaining that the woman was therefore someone from whom social distance was being kept by her neighbours. Water gathering was normally a sociable, fun occasion when people walked in groups and chatted, preferably when it was not too hot. But this woman approached the well alone in the heat of the day. What is more, she expects Jesus to keep his distance too, he, visibly a Jew, and she, clearly a Samaritan. As we know, however, God is a God full of surprises, and Jesus is about to surprise this woman whose name we never ascertain. She can interact with one person who is not from her household, as he asks her for a drink of water and in doing so breaks all sorts of taboos. A man on his own, speaking to a woman on her own unchaperoned. A person of the Jewish tradition, talking to a Samaritan at all. A Jew willingly asking to share vessels with a Samaritan. Someone willing to talk to her when her neighbours are shunning her into isolation. We are currently having to find ways to have social contact with our neighbours, family, friends without close physical contact, and are coming to terms with communication and technology systems we never expected to use. Yet I do still think that a story like this can be very rich in helping us to understand the close personal relationship we can have with God, both for our own sake and on God's behalf that we can offer to others, be they people we know and like, or people we might expect to relate to only as strangers. There can be no space for discrimination and prejudice when humanity needs to come together, not in large gatherings but in loving support of one another in safe ways, united in the determination to get to the state in which we can resume social, commercial and worshipping interaction after our enforced and necessary time of physical distancing from one another. Thank you for listening, stay safe, and see you soon, God willing.